what am I missing? Because I feel like I'm getting really good returns through my rental properties. It's created a lot of wealth, and there's a lot of hard lessons learned along the way. But what am I missing by just having a portfolio of all rental property?
Well, I think having a portfolio of all rental properties, first and foremost, is your active business.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
and the positioning or having some sort of equity investments is a great, quick way for most individuals to get access to asset classes that over time will keep up with and beat inflation. That's the whole reason we invest. There are no guarantees. But if we can diversify, we can invest in a diversified portfolio over 10, 20-year periods, you should be able to keep up with and beat inflation, being mindful there'll always be an exception to answer that's out there. So you really, the additional diversification can just give you insulation in the sense that we're coming out of a 30-year bull market in bonds. I mean, ever since you and I were born, the cost of money has gone down. And it's basically in Japan mode right now, where you can borrow almost for free. So now it's, well, when are interest rates going to go up? Ray Dalio has a couple of great books on this in principles, as well as like the next conversations on debt crises, in which real estate, being a hard asset that is usually highly levered, could be impaired if interest rates go up, and could have drastic impacts on your ability to generate a return. Doesn't mean you can't generate a return, but it can be a lot harder to generate a return depending on what market you're in. So your knowledge of that market might need to change, or the way you deploy your capital might need to change. Whereas other assets and other investments could complement, maybe, and give you a diversified return, in the sense that if you're all in on one asset class and we have a big bust, that could be devastating to you potentially.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying don't do it, but if you position or have other asset classes, there's been several real estate busts around the world, and even in the United States going back 30, 40 years, even well before 2008, when they changed the tax code in 1986. I mean, Dave Ramsey basically went bankrupt in that as a result of that, along with a lot of other people based on the changes in the tax code. I'm not saying you can't avoid it, but it's kind of like investing in treasuries right now. You're going to make maybe 1 or 2%. That's going to be kind of a hard market to make money in over the longer term. And it doesn't mean it's a bad asset class, but there's probably better asset classes. That could happen to real estate at some point in time as well.
Yeah. So maybe divert some of your cash flow or some of my cash flow into, mutual funds, as opposed to just continuing to buy rental properties with it.
Yeah, potentially. The other thing too is you might be generating some great returns. Maybe depending on how you're legally structured, you could have like a SEP IRA or a 401k. Having money in those accounts can give you a lot of creditor protection. And that creditor protection could be extremely important, especially if you hold everything in your name, as well as additional opportunity for tax deductions that could be like a free return in and of itself, to be mindful of.
I hope you got some value out of this portion of the interview with Kit Lancaster. If you did, hit subscribe below. He's a good friend of mine. He's a great financial planner who offers a ton of great advice in the rest of this interview. So if you want to hear the full interview, just click on the link in the comment section below. Also, you can search Living Off Rentals on any podcast player that you typically listen to, and you can subscribe there. Also, I'd love to hear from you on who you'd like me to interview on this channel. Who is it that's a rental property investing expert who could really offer some great advice to this community? I'll reach out to them and see if I can get them to come on and do an interview with us. Also, we have a really active and engaged Facebook community at the Living Off Rentals Facebook group. So go on over there, join the Facebook community, ask a question, get engaged, meet some other people who are some really great rental property investors, and I will see you in the next video.